Welcome to the gaming news of the week. First up for the news of the week is Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader announcing the Void Shadows expansion. Owlcat Games has announced and set a release date for Void Shadows, the first expansion for Warhammer Rogue Trader, a classic CRPG with turn-based combat set in the Coronis Expanse. This content promises about 15 hours of gameplay, which is included in the Season Pass and will be available on August 8th for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via Steam, Epic Game Store, and GOG. The DLC allows players to delve into a new story that introduces a completely new enemy, attempting to undermine the Von Valancius dynasty. Among the new features in Void Shadows, we can find new crew members, including high-ranking officers, as well as new locations to explore on the enormous Void ship while traveling through the Coronis Expanse systems. The Season Pass content, priced at $29.99, includes access to another expansion called Lex Imperialis, which will be available later this year and offer another 15 hours of gameplay. This content will add Adeptus Arbites as a new companion and uncover more about the Imperial Tithe Collection, also known as the Great Harvest. Us personally, we love the base game, so be sure to check out our Rogue Trader review on our channel. Next up for the news of the week, we have some Zenless Zone Zero news. Zenless Zone Zero, the upcoming ARPG developed by Hoyoverse, has been announced via a press release and social media. The next Genshin-like game is scheduled to launch on July 4th, 2024. And will be available for PC, PlayStation 5, and mobile devices. Undoubtedly, this is one of the most anticipated free titles of the year, as evidenced by the number of pre-registrations, which have already surpassed 35 million across all platforms. Additionally, a new trailer has been released, introducing another character like Kaon, the Wolf Knight. The title will also feature cross-play and cross-progression at launch. This means you can play on your PS5 and then continue the same game on your mobile or PC, for example. Players who have pre-registered will receive numerous rewards, which will increase as more pre-registrations are made. If you're interested and haven't registered yet, you can do so on their official website, or directly from the App Store for iOS or the Google Play Store for Android. Additionally, on PS5, there's a digital reservation package available for $11.99. Moving on, we have some news about Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red has officially ended the development of Cyberpunk 2077 after the release of its first and only expansion, Phantom Liberty. The studio made this decision to focus on allocating the majority of their resources to the development of The Witcher 4. This marks the first time in the last 10 years that CD Projekt Red has stopped working on Cyberpunk. According to their latest financial report, in February of this year there was still a team of 17 people working on Cyberpunk 2077, but by the end of April, no one remained. During that time, the studio has slightly grown, from 627 employees to 730, and the team that has grown the most is the one working on Project Orion, which will be the second installment of Cyberpunk 2077. By far, the bulk of CD Projekt's workforce, 407 people, are now dedicated to Project Polaris. Initially, the game seemed to completely miss the mark with various bugs and optimization issues at launch, but through multiple patches, especially 2.0 and the release of Phantom Liberty expansion, Cyberpunk 2077 has managed to redeem itself. And shortly before the studio closed that chapter, it received very positive reviews on Steam and it generated nearly 700 million. Now, the studio is mainly focused on the development of the highly anticipated Witcher 4 Polaris. Next up is some news about Alan Wake 2. The Alan Wake 2 DLC may be presented at Summer Game Fest, with Remedy Entertainment hinting the expansion by changing their name and logo on social media. They changed their logo and name by replacing the R with a very similar P, and changing the name to Poison Pill Entertainment with the addition Night Springs, the name of the first expansion that Alan Wake 2 will receive. This change occurred on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and all of the studio's social media platforms. On Twitter, the studio posted a new image with an icon of a pill and a mention of Alan Wake 2. Jeff Keighley quoted Remedy's tweet, adding the wide eyes emoji, indicating that he knows more than we do, perhaps implying that there will be a showcase at its next Summer Game Fest event on Friday, June 7th. According to Remedy, both DLCs will be released this year, so it's possible that Night Springs will be available during summer, along with an update including photo mode. Moving on, we have some surprising news about Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Dragon Age Dreadwolf, the new Dragon Age title from the developer BioWare, has suddenly appeared on the Xbox store page. It's been almost 2 years since we learned that Dragon Age Dreadwolf will be the official name of the fourth main installment of the saga. News about its release has been limited exclusively to rumors and speculations, with very little official information available about this project. In the description of the store page, it's told that this time we will be in Thedas, a vibrant land of rugged wastelands, treacherous labyrinths, and radiant cities, brimming with wild combat and secret magic. It's anticipated that the game will have a full presentation in the summer of 2024. There's still no release date, but EA hinted that it launched this fiscal year, and a well-known insider mentioned a release at the end of the year. The store page description reads, "Thedas needs a new leader and no one will see you coming. You will forge a brave company to face the coming storm. You will see friendship, drama, and love as you recruit characters for an extraordinary team. become a leader, and light the beacon of hope in these dark times. Moving on, we have some more Warhammer news. Publisher Cassetto Games has announced Warhammer 40k Mechanicus 2, a saga developed by Bulwark Studios that combines management and strategy with turn-based combat. The title is in development for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Although it doesn't have a release date or window, it does have a first cinematic trailer and some campaign and gameplay details. Warhammer 40k Mechanicus 2 will offer 2 playable factions, each with their own narrative, campaign, and distinct playstyles. Players will be able to control both the tech-religious acolytes of the Omnicia and the ancient and immortal Necron legions rising against them. The Adeptus Mechanicus will not only fight against the ancient humanoid force known as the Necrons. This time, players will have the opportunity to experience the battle from their perspective, as this mysterious robotic species now has a fully detailed separate campaign. Each faction has strengths and weaknesses that must be considered in tactical turn-based combat. The key lies in mastering and adapting to the abilities and styles of each faction, as well as the variety of combatants each side has. Additionally, the narrative of Warhammer 40k Mechanicus 2 will once again be handled by Ben Counter, known for his novels published with Black Library, a division of Games Workshop. Composer Guillaume David also returns to create the soundtrack. Next up is some news about the Monster Hunter Final Fantasy crossover. Square Enix and Capcom have officially released a Monster Hunter crossover for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and revealed skins for Cloud, Zack, Tifa, and Aerith. In 2020, Square Enix released the first part of their Final Fantasy VII Remake, with the second part, Rebirth, arriving in February of that year. Additionally, another type of remake came last year with Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Square Enix announced an Ever Crisis x Monster Hunter crossover this week, and released it on mobile devices and PC on May 30th. The content added includes Monster Hunter armor for Zack and Cloud Strife, and new skins for Tifa, Lockhart, and Aerith based on Monster Hunter outfits. As a part of the Monster Hunter crossover, Cloud will receive the Glavenus armor set, Zack will get the Zenogre armor set, Tifa will receive the Kirin armor set, and Aerith will get the Hinoa armor set. Monster Hunter themed swimwear has also been included as a part of the summer event for Ever Crisis, along with a new chapter based on First Soldier featuring Vincent as a playable character. Next up this week is some news about Mirthwood's first ever public demo. Mirthwood has now released its first ever public demo, an upcoming medieval fantasy RPG life sim adventure developed by the developer Bad Ridge Games, a Seattle-based studio debuting with this title. Bad Ridge Games has shown that the creation of Mirthwood was inspired by titles like Fable, Stardew Valley, and RimWorld, with the premise that your character flees a war-torn continent, arriving in a new place where they must start from scratch, and create a home and farm to survive. At the start of the game, you'll get to do character customization, changing physical appearance and background by choosing their origin, social class, and profession, with each of these traits providing advantages as well as disadvantages. Mirthwood's open world, featuring hand-drawn graphics, is divided into 6 regions and 3 towns. During your adventure, you'll face storms and illnesses while interacting with the characters around you. Additionally, there's a sim-style interaction system where you can even insult characters. There's nothing like making enemies wherever you go. Mirthwood is set to launch this summer on PC. Eager travelers who wish to start their journey can wishlist on Steam and play the demo now. Moving on, let's talk about special news from PlayStation's latest event, State of Play. First up, we have the new Monster Hunter Wilds trailer. A lot of people were pretty blown away by the trailer, and there's a lot of details that we can get from it. There will be a proper ecosystem of monsters that act with their own thoughts and motivations, which we could see in action from the various herds shown in the trailer. From the blog, we can read that quests will be seamlessly started when you encounter a large monster while exploring the open world, and the environment of the location shown, Windward Plains, has constant changing weather conditions which will change how various monsters act. Aside from that, we also got confirmation that all 14 weapon types will be returning, and insight into a new combat mechanic called Focus Mode, which allows players to have precise control over how they guard, aim, and attack to target a monster's weak point. The trailer definitely looks promising, and the various monsters and characters shown just make this game look phenomenal so far. We will definitely be covering it, so be on the lookout for that. Next on the state of play was Ballad of Antara. Ballad of Antara is a new free-to-play action RPG set to release on various platforms in 2025, announced by Infold Games and Tipworks during the State of Play broadcast. The creators explained that they have crafted a vast world with 2 versions, an ordinary world and another dimension called Para, which hides unimaginable mysteries and dangers. The fundamental essences of the living world are seized and trapped within Para due to the invasion of an ancient power, and that is where our story begins. Ballad of Antara is an action RPG with multiple playable characters. These characters possess the power to traverse the 2 worlds of normalcy and the unimaginable. They're called emissaries, and each emissary has their own unique class, gameplay abilities, and their own mysterious and tantalizing stories. In their words, finding and gathering these emissaries throughout the world, strengthening your forces, and uncovering the truth behind the calamity of the land you're in are the main objectives in the Ballad of Antara. There is a single-player narrative component, but Ballad of Antara also includes multiplayer for up to 3 players. Together, they can complete story missions, investigate the world, and discover dungeons. Post-launch, the game will expand with new zones, emissaries, stories, and more. More information is set to be revealed later this year, and a beta will be available on PS5 soon. In other news from State of Play, God of War Ragnarok will be releasing on Steam late this summer. This title, which originally came out in 2022, will have a new release window when it arrives on Steam and Epic Games for PC on September 19th. Sony has recently been venturing into the PC world, with some of their announced games also coming to PC. God of War Ragnarok will receive a PC port with several new features. However, Sony will have the requirement for those who wish to play this title on PC. They must have a PlayStation Network account to use the game. Previously, the company had implied that this would only be a requirement for the multiplayer aspects of their games, such as the PC version of Ghost of Tsushima. Fans have reacted quite negatively to the requirements for God of War Ragnarok, as countries where PlayStation Network is not available simply won't be able to access the game. God of War Ragnarok will arrive on PC on September 19th, with support for ultra-wide screens, the inclusion of the Valhalla DLC, and more. Next up, Path of Exile 2 was showcased during the latest State of Play, coinciding with the announcement of its early access launch for late 2024 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. The developer has confirmed the inclusion of local co-op mode. Local co-op is something we've always wanted to implement for a long time. Action RPGs are much more fun when you play with friends, and it's even better when you can do it in the same room. Path of Exile 2 will also be including crossplay and cross-progression, so the console versions will be on par with the PC version with the same support. Great importance has been placed on controller support. The new mapping system allows you to fully customize your controls thanks to 24 assignment slots and the redesign of inventory management, making Path of Exile 2 much easier to learn and play. Moreover, all the skills have been thoroughly reviewed by a new team specialized in consoles, ensuring that each one works perfectly with a controller. There are other features designed to make it easier for newcomers to the series or the genre to enter the world. To this end, many mechanics have been simplified. Tutorial videos on skills have been added to explain exactly how they work and how to use them in combat. A new help system allows players to know exactly how the stats of each item affect them at the press of a button, and a new system has been introduced to let players check what effects each choice has on their characters, making the game a lot easier to understand. Last up for the news of the week is a surprise announcement from State of Play. One of the big surprises from State of Play was Where Winds Meet, a Souls-like game being developed by Everstone Studios, which has reportedly been in development for about 5 years. So far, it has only been confirmed for release on PlayStation 5, suggesting it may be one of the major exclusives. The game is an open-world title based on the Wuxia, classical Chinese martial arts, similar to Phantom Blade Zero. Unfortunately, not many more details are known about this title yet. There's no release window, and for what we've seen, the game is still in development. Where Winds Meet is set during the Chinese historical period known as the 5 Dynasties and 10 Kingdoms. This game features ancient Chinese warriors who use martial arts with superhuman techniques. You'll be able to use mythical Chinese powers to literally run up cliffs, across water, and pummel your enemies to a crisp with martial arts. However, you can also gain some beastly powers, such as a great leap, breathing fire, or roaring like a lion. The visuals and combat look really promising, so definitely keep this on your radar if you're looking for a new Souls-like. So that's about it for this week's news. If you're interested in supporting the channel, be sure to leave a comment, let us know what you think about all the news, and check out our VIP subscription on the website for some exclusive supporter benefits. We will be seeing you next week.